Hey everybody, welcome to my garage. Today we're going to be putting Grizzla fairings on your Extreme. Let's start by going through all the parts that should come with your Grizzla fairing set. So first, you're going to be getting your Grizzla corners. And these will come with spacers and the screws needed to apply them. Then you have your Grizzla side fairing, which is where you'll put your pads and a spacer for the top to keep your leg from pressing into the side of the wheel. Then you have the front bumpers that go on the front of the Extreme here to cover this front rail that can easily get damaged. Ours hasn't even been ridden yet and it's already damaged on the front. Lastly, you have the back with the seat. This will cover your taillight and your seat, giving you a little more comfort on the ride. For tools, you don't have to use a power tool. You can use just hand tools, but you'll need a size 3mm key, size 2.5, size 4, and a size 6. You also need a size 5. We're gonna start with the top of the Grizzla, adding these side plates here, and then putting on your power plate. First tool you'll need is your size 4mm. You're gonna need to place this up to the wheel and take out the front and back screw on your battery casings. Now you place the top piece here. We're gonna put the provided bolt back into here. Make sure to backspin the screws first until you hear it click onto the thread before tightening so you don't cross the threads and ruin your screw. That's nice and tight. You can flip it around and do the other side. Now you don't want to over tighten these screws because this is still made of PLA plastic and can crack if you over tighten. Now let's put the side fairings on. Now you're gonna remove any pre-existing Velcro or side plating you may have had on your wheel. Now if you wanna get this adhesive off better, you can use Goo Gone. That's what it's called. If you'd like to get this adhesive off better, you can use Goo Gone, or you can heat it up and scrape it off. Just don't overheat because these are your batteries. Now that we have these screw holes open, we can put our side fairings on. For this, you'll need your 2.5mm. and the smaller screws here. We're just gonna line this up with the top here and get this top screw. Get that one in nice and snugly, and we can do our second one. As we tighten more of these in, it'll even it down and be easier to tighten each screw in. When it's nice and tight, we can flip it around and do the other side. The nice thing about this fairing is they did give you a lot of back support and a little bit of extra front, so your pads have a little more room to move forward and back. Same thing on this side, rip off any Velcro or pre-existing plates that you have on here. And we're gonna put our new plates on. Now go through and make sure all your screws are snug. Next, we're gonna work on the bottom corner fairings on either side. These will be set up as so. This fairing piece, we'll use your bottom battery screw. We'll use this side battery screw here. And then this is not yet used in this pre-production model, but will be in the future to screw in here. Gonna take off the inside bolt on either side of the battery. Now it does have a little notch here that slides into place on the battery here. Make sure to get it nice and snug in there before tightening everything in. Now take your provided spacer, slide it into place here, and then take your long screw, slide it in there, and we're gonna tighten this into the bottom battery case. This will take your size 3mm hex key. And go until nice and snug. Again, don't over tighten. These pieces are made of PLA plastic. They are strong, but when over tightened can cause cracks that will break upon impact. Now we take our 2.5mm screw, tighten that into the side here. Nice and snug in there. Then we'll do the other side. Taking our size 3mm again. We'll be tightening this in on the bottom first. Now grabbing our 2.5 size screw, the smaller one. Now we'll flip it over and do the other side. Take your size 4 again, take out the inner screw on each battery. And then again, spacer in. Long 3mm screw. I'm going to line it up at the bottom. Grab our 2.5, smaller 2.5 screw. And then do the other side. Spacer first, and 3mm long hex key, not 3mm long. And lastly, grab the 2.5 one more time, get this last one in. And now we can start working on the top. We are gonna have to take off the top handlebar piece here to tighten in our top piece. And then we'll take out both of the light pieces just on one side at a time so the whole light doesn't go falling out on us. Take your size 3, take out each of these light screws. And now we can pop our side fairing, front fairing piece into place. There we go, easy as hell. Now with our 5mm, put your top bolt back in. Get that nice and snug so it's not going to pop off while you're riding. Then Grizzla was even smart enough to add an extra little length here so you'll still be able to twist your light forward and back if you need to. And put our light screws back in. The size 3mm hex key. And then lastly we have a provided nut and bolt. You're going to be sliding this through the front of the fairing here. The nut goes in the back side as so. And this will hold the nut in place when you're tightening, so you don't have to have any sort of wrench. And then go ahead and tighten with a 3mm hex key. Now we'll repeat this process on the opposite side. First, size 5mm. Take out the top, size 3, and take out your light screws. And then pop the next side into place. There you go, easy as pie. The size 5mm again, get the top piece. And your bottom 2 light screws with the 3mm. There, nice and tight. I already put the nut in on this side. Now we're gonna slide this one in. Start tightening with the 3mm hex key. Now we can move on to the back side. On the back side here, we will be removing the light bolt on either side and replacing that with the provided bolt. And like the fronts, we will also be putting a nut in the back side of the fairing here. So that way, through the front of the fairing here, you can tighten the piece in. Again, our size 5. I definitely stated in the beginning. So remember it. And you slide this into place. Size 6. Nice and snug. We'll get this size 3mm hex key screw in. Careful to hold that nut in the back. And now we can flip it over to the other side. Our back nut is already in this one. And then we need to take out the top light bolt here first. Put our new top bolt in, the size 6mm hex key. First reversing the thread to make sure it fits into place. Get it nice and snug in there. Then we're gonna do our bottom bolt. Slide it through, hold the nut in the back. Size 3mm hex key. Lastly, We're gonna slide our seat into place. In the final production, they've built a piece that fits right here to the seat and slides into place here. That allows you to be able to lift your seat as a hinge like this, so you can still use the trolley. For now, it just sticks on. Now you're ready to toss some pads on your newly fairinged up wheel. We're gonna grab these Grizzla pads from this Monster Pro over here. These are the Grizzla Flows, which now also have light attachments that you can buy to put in the front or rear, with a rear light, tail light, and a front headlight. Way I do my pads, let's get my foot on there, get it all set up where I like to be. Slide my foot in. This toe hook will be a little bit lower. Now I'll just loosen this guy, push it down onto my foot more. Might have to adjust this later because these aren't my normal riding shoes. Tighten this guy back up. Hold it in place and get our backs. Go like there. Push. Move this top one a little further back. I personally like it curved a little bit. My calf pushes further back. A little bit more back in general. Yeah, that's good. We're gonna be able to lean really hard on this wheel. It's got lots of torque, so we need to make sure we got lots of power to lean into. It's okay if your feet are slightly off from each other. Riding style is different between everyone. Nobody is the same. Good thing they gave me that extra distance. I wouldn't have had enough room to put my pads on. Now let's go test this wheel out. So after riding the Extreme with the Grizzla fairings on it for the last 10 miles, the number one thing I noticed that's been improved is this pad on the side here has made it to where my knee is no longer hurting from pressing against that original metal railing, and now is protected by a 3D print that makes it a lot more comfortable and almost makes the wheel feel a little bit taller, giving it more geometry in your turning. Another key feature is the kickstand here. It allows your tail guard to not scratch as much as the old one did. You can see it gives it a little bit of extra lift there. The seat, I have not quite tried that too much. Without the hinge that's gonna be in the production model, it doesn't sit in there too well, so I don't want it to pop off. But it hasn't popped off during jumping or playing around at all. These corner bumpers, haven't had to use them yet, but they aren't affecting my feet at all. They're not in the way. They don't make my foot uncomfortable when I'm riding. I just want to mention the pads on the side of the wheel. They gave you so much room with this bigger fairing plate in the front and back to move your pads forward and backward as far as you need to. I was gonna mention cons, but I didn't really notice any. The hinge, when that comes into play, is gonna be really nice to be able to lift your seat. Everything seems nice and sturdy, nothing's floppy. I didn't have to use any double-sided tape to stick anything down. Everything seems solid and sturdy. Let's go ahead and ride it off this ledge now. Woo, actually rode it a little bit too. Now let's head back to the garage and have some closing statements. Now that we're back in the garage, I wanted to go over one last detail about the Grizzla fairing set, and that was the seat. It was actually really comfy and cushy and kept me really gripped to the wheel when carving and turning. That's all for the Grizzla fairing kit install video. Make sure to get yours today at grizzlapads.com using code GRACEESCAPE. If you want to see more videos and writing content like this, be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell to keep the videos coming. Have a good day and ride safe.